dear friends, we're going to be making another headband. It has been very cold this winter, and this is a very nice yarn. It's the Red Heart Chic Sheep, and this one is called Dragon Fruit. And it's a number 4 knitting yarn. It's a worsted yarn, a medium, and I'm using size 8 knitting needles. And so what you do with this, see, I want it to be short in the back because I want my hair to go over it. And so what you do is that I'm going to be using the Chic Sheep Red Heart, and this is the leather. It's called leather. So let's do this, and we are going to be casting on with the brown. We're going to be casting on 9 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to be adding our stitches in the middle of your work, like right there in the middle. And first every 6 rows, then every 4 rows, then every 6 rows, then every 4 rows. And we add 2 stitches every time we add. So row number 1, and only on this row you're going to be knitting the first stitch. Let me get this a little bit closer. And so the next one you're going to knit also, and then purl, knit and purl, knit and purl, and the last 2 are knits. Knit and knit. Okay, so row number 2, you are going to pass the first stitch without working it. So you pass it as if to purl. You purl the second one, and then knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl the last 2. So let's repeat this so that it's clear. So from now on, the first stitch on the right side you're going to pass without working it as if to knit. The second one you knit and then purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then knit and knit. Row number 4, which is the wrong side, you're going to pass as if to purl without working it, and then purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and then the last 2 you're going to purl. So let's repeat these 2 rows again. So the first stitch on row number 5, you're going to pass as if to knit, and then knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then knit and knit. number 6, same as row number 2 and number 4, you're going to pass the first one as if to purl, and then purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and then purl and purl. So now we have our first 6 rows. Now we're going to be adding our first 2 stitches on row number 7. So this is what we're going to be doing. On row number 7, you're going to pass that one as if to knit, and then knit, purl, knit, and then that is the middle stitch, because you're going to have 4 on one side, 4 on the other side, and that is the middle stitch. What you want to do with that one is that on that same one you're going to be knitting 3. The way we're going to do it is that you're going to pick it up as if to purl, and you're going to purl, put your yarn in the back and knit it. Do not take it off, and then put your yarn in the front and purl it. So you already purled, knit, and purled that middle one. So now we're going to knit, purl, and knit the last 2. On the way back, what you want to do is that you're going to pass the first one as if to purl, and you're going to purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl the last 2. So now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 stitches, because we added 2 in that middle stitch. So row number 9, we're going to pass the first one as if to knit, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit the last 2. And then next row, which is, I think it's 8, we're going to pass that one as if to purl, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl and purl. So let's see what row number that was. So I have the 6 from the beginning. On the 7th I added my stitch. The 8th is the way back. The 9th you don't do anything, you just follow the pattern, and I have 10 rows. So there we have it. So now we had 6 rows, and then we added a stitch, and then we have 4 rows, and we're going to add another stitch on that middle stitch right there. So you're going to be having 5 on one side, 5 on the other. So this will be row number 11. So pass one as if to knit, and then knit, purl, knit, and purl. And now that is going to be my middle stitch, because I have 5 on one side, I have 5 on the other side. That's the middle stitch. On that one, see, it shows as if it's a knit stitch. So what we're going to do is that we're going to knit that one, put your yarn in the front without taking the stitch off your left hand needle, and purl, and then put your yarn to the back without taking that stitch off, and you're going to knit that stitch, and now you can take it off. So that same stitch, I knit, purl, and knit. Now the next stitch is a purl, and then a knit, and then a purl, and the last two I knit. Okay, so next row I am going to pass the next one as if to purl, and purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl, and purl. So that's what we have now. We have our 6 rows from the beginning, and then we added on the 7th, and then we have 4 rows, and we added on the 11th, and we keep doing this same sequence until we have 31 at the top. What you want to do now is, once you have your 31, is that you want to go up straight without adding any more stitches. And I have 12 rows here. What I did is that at around row number 6, after I added, I measured around my head, and that would be the middle, because you want it snuggle around your head. You don't want it all wobbly. Anyway, now I knitted the other 5, so the other 6, so I have 12 without adding any stitches. And what you want to do now is that, the same as always, you want to pass that one as if to knit, and then knit. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And so those 3 in the middle, I have 14 on one side, 14 on the other side, and those 3 in the middle, I am going to purl them, because I want that stitch in the middle to be a purl, because like that I keep the same sequence. The last one was a knit, and now I'm going to be purling those 3 stitches together, and then I keep with the same sequence. I knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit the last two, and then of course on the way back the same thing, we pass one as if to purl and purl, knit, and then the last two we purl. So keep going, because you're going to see that the middle one is going to show us knit on this side, because you keep with the same sequence. See, that's the middle one. So I will see you at the end of this row. Okay, I did my 6 rows, and so the number 1 is where I purled the 3 together, and then I did 5 more rows. Now it is time to do the next takeoff, and I'm going to pass one as if to knit, knit. So now I'm going to have 13 stitches on each side before I take off in the middle. So let's see, I have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and those are the 3 in the middle, in which I'm going to knit the 3 stitches together. So I pick up my 3 stitches all at once, and I am going to knit them together, and then once I do that, I am going to purl, knit, purl, knit, and I continue with the same sequence for 4 more rows. So the distance between this takeoff and the next is going to be 4 rows, because it's 6 and then 4 and then 6 and then 4. So the last 2 I knit, and I'll see you when I get to the next takeoff. So now I did my 4 rows from here to the last row, and now I have 12 on one side, 12 on the other side. I will bring my yarn to the front and purl these 3 stitches together, and then I'll continue with my knitting, and like that until you have 9 stitches left. You keep doing 6 rows and 4 rows, 6 rows and 4 rows, and easy going. Okay, so I have my 9 stitches here, and I already did 4 rows, and so I'm going to make the 5th row here. So I'm going to pass and then knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and knit. Now on the last row, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pass that one as if to purl and purl 2 together, purl 2 together, purl 2 together, purl 2 together. On the next row, I am going to bind off. I pass one, knit the next and bind off, knit the next, bind off, knit the next, bind off, and knit the next, and bind off. What I want to do now is that I want to use this button, but see, I had to bind off. I needed to purl two together in order for this one to fit nicely. So what I want to do here is that I want to make 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn, and attach it to that first one, pass and pass, and then you're done. Now we can cut our yarn, and we will weave in our ends. There we go. And like that, this button fits very nicely on that loop there. And I will show you when I sew it. Okay, this is the right side of my work, and I put some yarn in there, and I am going to sew that button in that middle stitch there. So let's get the button in here. There we go. Pass it through to the back, and now you can separate your yarn and pass one tail through a small gap in the back. So let's get this here, and we pass a little bit through the back like that. Now we can make a knot with the 2 tails. And we're done. We can weave in our ends. This is the beginning, so we're going to weave that one in also. The one that you did your loop with. So you want to go in there, pick up a little bit from the first loop, bring it back so that it has a nice closure, and now you can weave it in. There you have it. So see, even if you have short hair like I do, it looks very nice in the back. See, it goes over the band, and this is the way it looks in the front. And it covers the ears very nicely. So there it is. And thank you very much for watching. Please share us with your friends and like our page and subscribe, and thank you.